And so the Trojans take it in Tempe, Arizona, 42-28. Definitely closer than USC wanted it to be and really expected it to be. But nonetheless, Caleb Williams showed up and somewhat single-handedly got USC the win. He had over 300 yards through the air and added 3 touchdowns through the air as well as 2 on the ground. But Marshawn Lloyd also continuing his breakout year, over 150 yards on the ground. He was a key part in the victory. But penalties were definitely a reason why Arizona State kept it closer than USC would have liked. USC committed 10 penalties for a total of 85 yards. Now they go on to face a pretty solid Colorado team that is coming off a terrible loss at Oregon. They lost 42-6, and as Dion put it, it was a good old-fashioned butt whooping. I'm sure Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams are going to look to do the same next week. It's Miller time. That's what everyone's saying, and that's actually now a trending hashtag on Twitter or X after Miller Moss came in, filled that vacancy left behind by Caleb Williams after he, of course, declared for the NFL draft, and then led the USC Trojans to a 42-28 victory over the Louisville Cardinals in the Holiday Bowl down here in sunny San Diego. Now, this isn't just a meaningless victory to top off a mediocre season for the USC Trojans. This is a Trojan team that ever since the Lincoln Riley era began in Los Angeles, they built a culture and an identity around the transfer portal. For the first 2 seasons of Lincoln Riley's tenure as the USC Trojans head coach, the USC Trojans brought in several key players every single year through that transfer portal while maintaining all of their key guys and making sure that none of them leave the roster by entering the transfer portal. That being said, after this season featured a disappointing regular season, the USC Trojans lost several key players once that transfer portal opened, and they didn't bring in many good guys either from that transfer portal. But there still is 1 week left until the transfer portal officially closes, and finishing the season off with a bang like this is absolutely going to help Lincoln Riley and the other members of the coaching staff bring in some of those key guys on both sides of the ball. So this victory absolutely is going to help this Trojan roster heading into next season. I'm Nolan Ezzet, reporting from San Diego, California at the Holiday Bowl.
The reason why I'm not surprised at the loss is you look back at the schedule and you look at the results, and the Trojans were a very streaky team. They started out losing their first 4 of 5. They went on to win the next 9 straight, and just the entire season, it was consecutive wins or consecutive losses, back to back to back to back. And when you look at how the regular season ended for the Trojans, they lost their last 3 in the regular season. And that's why it doesn't surprise me that Crash, like you were saying, playing against a really good team in Pitt. Well, if this is a Trojan team that lost their last 3 straight, how in the world are they supposed to pick it back up and take down Pitt?
Juju Watkins, #1 recruit coming out of high school, but she has still exceeded expectations through the last 3 games, the only 3 games this season, in the major categories of points, rebounds, and assists. In every single game, she has been the leader in 2 of those. Against Ohio State, she was the Trojan leader in points and assists. And in the last 2 games, last week against Florida Gulf Coast and Lemoyne, she was the Trojan leader in points and rebounds. She's just been absolutely amazing, and they're going to need her heading into late December through early February, where, like you said, Terrence, the Pac-12 is amazing at women's hoops. From December 30th to February 2nd, the Trojans play, currently as it stands, number 3 UCLA, then number 3 UCLA again, then number 4 Utah, number 5 Colorado, number 24 Washington State, and number 6 Stanford.